Hello Substreamers and welcome back to Substream News with Joseph, your presenter. Now first up today, the biggest video game in the world right now is one that you might not have heard of. It's called Wukong and it's a mythological adventure game coming straight out of China. Now this is quite unusual because China is not famed for big console games. They are one of the world leaders for mobile games, but console games just not part of their repertoire. The reason for that is the Chinese government is a bit anti-gaming. They've had a big crackdown since 2021 trying to control and limit just how much young people play video games. So what can I tell you about Wukong? Well, it sold 10 million copies in its first 3 days, and they are $60 per copy. You do the maths. Big numbers. It's gone on since then to sell about 18 million copies in total. So we're talking over $1 billion, which is incredible for a pretty small company. I've read there's about 30 people at Hero Games who built this. So absolutely incredible. When you think of big games like Grand Theft Auto or FIFA or Call of Duty, these game studios like Activision, they have thousands of staff, so 30 people to build a game with this level of success is incredible. And it's reported that Hero Games are already using this money to funnel into new developments. They don't really need to improve Wukong because it's complete, so they can start working on new games, which means some very exciting gaming is going to come out of China. And not just from Chinese, but also for Chinese, because this huge reaction from the Chinese gaming market, with millions of people showing that they do really want games, has now inspired gaming studios around the world to build games for a Chinese audience. I've got some more information here. China has an estimated 600 million gamers, despite the crackdown, but console gaming represents just 0.5% of those. Of the market revenue of gaming in China, 0.5% is console. Almost all of the rest is mobile gaming, which is quite incredible. Wukong is one of the few games that did get approved by the government because it's somewhat historical, although it's mythological. You go and watch the gameplay because it's absolutely breathtaking. It's art. It looks incredible. I've not played it, but I really want to. And after you see the trailer, you may want to too. Let's move on to the next story. 7-Eleven's Japanese owner has rejected the bid. I feel like a football transfer news guy there. The bid has been rejected. So it's true, yes, 7-Eleven rejected the bid from Alimentation Couche-Tard from Canada. It was a $38 billion offer to buy out 7-Eleven. That was like 80,000 convenience stores. Now, despite the rejection, the Japanese company have said they are open to negotiations, so a higher bid could turn their head. And even the Japanese government has encouraged some of the biggest companies in Japan to strongly consider foreign investment, which is a kind of change of tone, because in the past, Japanese companies really tried to stay Japanese whilst acquiring foreign companies in the process. The Japanese economy is down, and that's probably why they've got a bit of a change of tactic. Now, if their future bid is successful, Alimentation Couche-Tard will integrate these stores, and they will have over 100,000 convenience stores in total. But this was grossly undervalued and also opportunistically timed. These are some of the terms that are being thrown around in relation to this story. What do you think? Do you think 7-Eleven should remain a Japanese national asset? It is such an icon. Or should they sell and, take the money and run? Let's move on. Denise Prudhomme scanned into work on Friday, 16th of August at Wells Fargo in Arizona, and she never scanned out. This is really quite a tragic story. She worked late and she died at her desk. She was about 60 years old, and Monday was a day off, and they didn't find her till Tuesday. She was there for over 4 days. And I've seen various different perspectives on this coverage of this story. And position that I take is, how sad, what a waste of life. Why do we overwork ourselves to this point, really? We give so much to these huge corporations in exchange for a paycheck. And sure, we all need to make money, pay our dues, pay our bills, and, do what we have to do. But to go so far as to die from perhaps being overworked, and for nobody to find us for 4 days, I think is really sad. Now, of course, there are workplace accidents and there are workplace suicides. This was neither. This was just, I suppose, natural causes. But what causes natural causes as a death? It could be stress, but this was just life. And life has a very funny way of doing things and showing us things and helping us find meaning. And I really hope that anyone who sees this will kind of think, should I do that overtime? Should I give more and more when I don't have the energy? Should I set clearer boundaries with my bosses and employers? That's what I think. Running the extra mile, the extra errands, going above and beyond. It might not be worth it in the end. Is the payoff really there? Now, I've got a little anecdote before I move on. I want to shout out my dad. He watches a lot of these videos. And a few years ago, about 4 years ago, he quit his job and he'd worked it for decades. And I had always known that he didn't really love it. He wasn't really happy. Long hours, not great time off, really worked hard, long commutes. He worked himself, to exhaustion. And after all of that, he stopped, he took a break, he took 6 months off, and then he went and got a job he actually wanted to do. And it's nice that he was in the position that he could do that. But I saw this profound change in my dad in that time that really inspired me and gave me a perspective to see someone you love kind of reinvent themselves. And I'm really proud of him for doing that, because a lot of people will, let's say, stick with the golden handcuffs and they'll stay with their salary because they can't imagine that earning less would allow them to be happier. So it's a tricky one, but yeah, I see my dad happier, healthier, more energetic, just more vibrant, more social. And I believe he will live longer as a result. I believe that one change in his life will give him extra years. And so I'm really happy. So substreamers, I care about you. That's why we share these health and technology stories, is we care about you. Thank you for being here. We want you to live long, happy, healthy, prosperous lives. Don't work yourself to an early grave. That's all I'm saying. Much love. Let's move on to the next story. And shout out Dad again. I was originally going to finish with a lighter note about a woman starting a fire in Greece. And the more I read this story, the more I realized this is not a lighter story. This is not a lighter note. It's reckless, absolute recklessness at its best. So the story is, in Greece, this woman intentionally set 2 wildfires because she enjoyed flirting with firemen. She wanted them to come so that she could ogle them and flirt with them and, see what kind of response she could get. Now, that's chaotic. That's just such chaotic behavior. You must agree with me on that. If not, let me know in the comments if you think that's justified. The part 2 of this story is that she did get arrested, she got caught, sentenced. She got a 3-year suspended sentence, which means she doesn't have to go to jail unless she does another crime. That means she basically just walks away free for doing something that is destroying Greece. Now, if you follow the news and you've seen every summer for the past few years, horrible wildfires have destroyed entire villages and towns in Greece. It's such a vulnerable place to extreme dry weather and fire. So doing intentional wildfires when you know how much they've ruptured your country, vile, really vile. So couldn't use that as my lighter note. I was just trying to get the pun, but I think we'll move on to another story that is humorous. Let's go. Okay, guys, substreamers. I'm not quite sure exactly where to start with this, but an upside down pineapple is changing Spanish culture. That would be my headline. So this is a social media trend in Spain. There's a big supermarket chain called Mercadona. What you have to do is you have to go to Mercadona between 7 and 8 p.m., get a pineapple, turn it upside down in your shopping cart, and that means you are single and ready to mingle. You're looking for action. It's, I don't know, something like swinging or dogging or just hookup culture. I'm not quite sure. Pineappling, don't really know what they're calling it. It hasn't quite got a name except for Pineapple Gate. I don't think that's quite apt. So there's even like famous actresses and actors and social media influencers all over Spain are talking about this. So now everybody knows about it, and it's causing absolute chaos. Mercadona staff are not happy. There have been fist fights. They're having to throw people out of stores. There have been young people causing a ruckus, people crashing trolleys, people hooking up, like matching, and just abandoning full shopping carts to go and do their business, have some fun. So even one guy dressed up as a giant pineapple looking for love. Guys, this is an absolute crazy story, but it did make me laugh. So on that note, let me know, how much do you like pineapples on a scale of 1 to 10? I'll see you next week. I'm Joseph, your presenter. This is Substream News. If you're not subscribed already, or if you want to read up on any of the stories in this video, just scroll down. We put the links or sources to all of our stories in the video description. Right around that same area is the subscribe button. Would do us a massive favor if you click it, and come back and watch another video next time. See you then.